Hello, PPM family. Taking a little break here from my painting to kind of get you up to speed and try to get a podcast out to you. This is our March, April, and May podcast. And so I do wish I had gotten some sooner, but the move coming in, trying to get stuff caught up, literally getting the air conditioning converted to a heat pump. Lots of things going on in our new little building. And again, please, if you haven't stopped by yet, please stop by. Our building is about less than half the size of our old building. So lots more stuff still to do to get it kind of prepped and ready. And what we're doing now is the back, which was originally our embroidery shop, we have now converted into another classroom. That will give us a lot more room. Our current classroom for our BLS was really relatively small for a BLS classroom. And so what we're going to do is move the ACLS, which those classrooms are usually tinier, into that room, pull the BLS back into here, and we've actually partnered with another local lady that does embroidery, and we've checked her out. She does fantastic work, so we're actually partnered with her to do all of our embroidery and heat press, just like we did before. So it's really a good working relationship, and it gives us our back room now that we can use. Anne, who was our embroidery lady for years, has officially retired. We're sorry to see her go, but those things happen. So she's having a kind of a retired life as we speak. Probably busier now than she's ever been, but that's usually what happens with retirements. Anyway, we're going to miss her. We had a nice kind of going away thing for her. And like I said, we are going to miss her. She was a good girl. Okay, let's talk about some odds and ends here. Administratively, remember one of our administrative duties is when people call and they say, I need another CPR class. Well, our first question is, who was your instructor? And we send them back to you. We give them your phone number and everything so they can come back to you and rebook another class. So we see that as keeping you viable out there, giving you classes. That is not something like when they call, we don't kind of take your student. We've had people say, you're taking, no, that's not what we do. We hand it back to you. We have more than enough to take care of on our own. So that is part of our duties to you, is to hand those back to you and make sure that your student follows up. Okay? Expiration dates, remember that we do contact you almost 3 months in advance that your card is expiring, you need to get your monitor done, get back up to speed so we can issue a new instructor card. When you have a new instructor's card, you are then licensed to teach CPR. Think of your CPR instructor card as your driver's license. Okay, you wouldn't go out and drive the street, at least I hope you wouldn't, with an expired driver's license. If you get caught, there's big fines. Well, what happens with an expired instructor card is that your students you've taught are not actually certified, which creates one heck of a mess trying to get you recertified now, because now you actually created a fraudulent act in the Attorney General's eyes, and therefore creates a real problem for us trying to get that done. Now, we sent out a letter which I thought was informative. Some of you took this as hostile, and again, I want to remind you that all letters we send out, Constant Contact automatically puts your name on the letter. That's kind of a neat feature, but it also creates a problem because everybody thinks we're talking about you. Some of these things are generalized. It even says this is a general statement to all instructors. So don't take it personally. If you're not doing this, then don't take it personally. It's not about you. But literally just yesterday, we had an instructor who decided that she wasn't going to do her dues. She was going to no longer teach, which is fine. There comes a time when we decide we don't want to teach anymore. She literally called just yesterday demanding that we renew her because she booked the class for that afternoon. This will be Saturday. Today is Sunday. She booked the class for Saturday night, teaching people, and her card's not current. So she's got to teach this class. Well, no, you did not renew your instructor card. You cannot teach these people. I don't really understand how difficult this is to understand that you're not currently certified to teach that program. So, yeah, and if you look in some previous podcasts, I talked about speaking with the Attorney General, who actually called me in reference to fraudulent activities on cards from instructors. and I've spoken to both the D.C. Attorney General and the Maryland Attorney General. Both were hot to trot because if you issued a card to a person that is billing for their service, i.e. like Medicare, Medicaid, that is a federal fine. That is federal fraud. And I got my ears pinned back, and it turned out it wasn't even our fault. Our instructors were not doing that at that time. So that's what we talked about in the letter. It wasn't meant to be mean or vicious. It was meant to let you know that this is very serious. And even though that letter went out, very serious, again, it just happened literally just yesterday. So somehow we're not getting this across. And again, I do apologize to my viewers because the odds are you are not the ones doing this because you're watching the podcast and you're keeping up to speed. But it does drive us here in the office crazy trying to get this thing done correctly and within accordance of AHA guidelines, which we must follow to the letter. Okay? So, yeah, that is an issue. And that's why we did what we did. Okay? That's why the letter came out like that. And obviously, everybody said that letter was too strong, but obviously maybe it wasn't too strong since it's still going on. Okay. YouTube, remember, and again, the YouTube you're watching, down the bottom of YouTube, you have a little thumbs up, and hopefully you like my presentations, and you give me a thumbs up, or you can get thumbs down, it's up to you. But then there's also a little, like a bell there, and that means subscribe. And what that does is when we put out a podcast like this, you will get a notification email saying, hey, PPM has put out a new podcast. That's all it does. It just lets you know there's a new one to watch. So it comes in handy so you can keep up with the latest podcast coming out. We will not send a notification of this podcast for at least a week because those that have subscribed will get the information right off the bat. Okay? And you guys will get a chance to win. Because I will be giving a secret name or number or something before the very end of this. Okay, childcare. We did a talk not that long ago in reference to be careful with the ASHI cards coming out now. There's a pediatric card. There's like multiple cards. You have to be careful which card you've got. And for the American Heart Association, remember when you're using a pediatric class, make sure you check that you did all the modules. When you're sending an e-card, if you click you did the modules, it'll automatically put that on their certification and on their card. If you don't, it just goes through just adult. So again, if you're doing a daycare, instant problem because their card's going to say just adult, and their reviewer is going to say they're not going to accept that. So really kind of a problem with that, so be careful. Make sure you check those modules. Okay, that looks like that's pretty much all the things to do. Again, the coffee pot's always on. We'd like you to stop in and visit our new location. Again, it's very tiny compared to our old place, but we're still pretty much operational with all the things we did. Our embroidery now, we still take the embroidery in. All of our designs and stuff we're working with the new lady so that if you come in and you want your, and I'll just pick one, say the Bel Air logo on the shirt, we still get the shirt in, we take it, we get it embroidered, we bring it back. It's almost as if it was in here in our building. Okay, so nothing much has changed in that regards. As always, we want you to keep current. Any questions, contact Kathy, as she handles most of the instructor questions. If she has any questions about what you're asking, she'll get back to me. But most of the time, she can handle your questions and get you booked. We're rapidly approaching about the 525 instructor level. We have not lost that many instructors. Actually, the issue with the vaccine, we only lost about 5 instructors, which again is really odd because almost all of our instructors have medical background. So it's really odd to lose an instructor in reference to a vaccine issue, not getting the vaccine, when so many of our people are either EMS or hospital-based providers. So again, kind of strange. But that pretty much wraps it up. The secret word for this is fire extinguisher. Kind of a strange thing, but I'm looking at one, and therefore that becomes the secret word. And we'll get a prize off. And I guess that's pretty much it. As always, if you think of something new or something idea or something you want to share with the group, let me know. We'll put it in the next podcast. Try to keep all this as current as possible. And take care, be careful, and I will see you soon.